welcome back. My name's Marissa.
I'm Arrianne.
And we're naturalists here at the Woodlands Nature Station in Land Between the Lakes. So today we're going to do a little campfire cooking video and demonstrate some recipes that you can make at home that will fulfill some of your belt loop requirements. So we're going to be making a couple different recipes, and we'll also go over preparation and how to cook safely and make sure you remain clean throughout the cooking process. So we are ready to get cooking, but first there's just a couple things we need to do. So one of those things is we need to make sure we have a clean and safe environment because we're going to be eating this food, which is pretty awesome. I'm hungry. So one of the things we need to do first is wash our hands. I've already done that. So make sure you wash your hands with soap and water or hand sanitizer before you cook. Alright, so now some other important things. We have some fresh ingredients like an orange and an onion, fruits and veggies, other things. We need to keep all of those separate from our meat. So we have some chicken here. Those need to be kept separate because raw meat should not be mixed with anything else. So we have that a separate place on the table for that. And when we cook that, we will wash our hands in between. We'll wash our cutting board and our utensils to make sure there's no cross-contamination. So something else that's really important is we need to make sure we have a clean surface. So we happened to bring a cutting board with us because we knew we were going to be campfire cooking out in the wild. But make sure you have a clean surface, whether it's a cutting board you bring with you or it's things like garbage bags that you tape down around a picnic table to have something as a clean surface to put your food on, to cut on, to do all of those things. Some other things we did is that we planned for this. We knew we were going to be out here camping and campfire cooking, so some of the things we did was we researched recipes we wanted to cook. We decided what we wanted to cook, and then we used those recipes to make a shopping list. Then we went to the store, bought all of our ingredients, and made sure to pack them with us. We also made sure to be safe about our ingredients. So, for example, we bought fully cooked chicken. So it is fully cooked, it's not raw. However, it is still meat, so we still need to be careful and make sure it has proper refrigeration. So that means you need to plan for any coolers you need to bring to keep any products cold. All right, are we ready to get cooking?
One thing we really wanted to show you is that while we love s'mores here at the Nature Station, there is more to campfire cooking than s'mores. There's more than s'mores. So one thing that's really cool is that if you're creative, you can put just about anything on a stick. So we're actually going to pull our cutting board aside because we don't even need that right now. And instead, we're going to crack out a nice can of cinnamon rolls. This is one of the easiest things you can do. You can also do this with biscuit dough and some brown sugar cinnamon if you can't get a hold of cinnamon rolls, that kind of thing. Now normally you would put them on a baking sheet and bake them as is, but what we're going to actually do is kind of pull it apart a little bit. You want to make it basically into a dough snake like this. And we're going to wrap it around our stick. Now if you have a normal stick, you can just wrap it around like a snake. I actually happen to have one of these little poker things here, so what we're going to do is I am just going to do my best to weave it around like this. And then what we'll do is we will cook that over the campfire and roast it just like marshmallows. What we're looking for is it's going to be nice and golden brown on the outside, and you want it to be cooked on the inside. Remember that when you pack these things, they are raw, which means you shouldn't eat them raw. You need to make sure they are fully cooked first. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to move our sticks here a little bit because we don't want the flames to roast our cinnamon roll here. The flames are good, it means we have a hot fire, but they will just burn our cinnamon roll. Instead, what I'm looking for is these red hot coals that are underneath everything. So where all this nice ashy stuff is, that's where the red coals are. So that is where I'm going to roast my cinnamon roll. Much like roasting a perfect marshmallow, this is going to take time and patience. Remember to flip so that things don't fall apart. Now some of that burning is actually just the sugar on the biscuit, the cinnamon roll actually browning. So that happens, and that's still going to be full of tasty sugary flavor.
So now we're going to make our chicken fajitas. So the first thing I'm going to do is get out some aluminum foil, heavy duty, and I'm going to make the pouch that we're going to cook these in. And this just makes a nice area for me to put all of my veggies once I'm done cutting them. Now I have a bell pepper and some onions here that I'm going to cook up for our fajitas. Now, I'm going to be careful. I have a nice cutting board here of sharp knife. And I'm just going to cut these into nice slices. I also have a garbage bag off to the side where I can put any scraps because we don't want to litter with anything. I like nice thin slices for fajitas when I make them at home, so that's what I'm going to do here. Careful with your fingers. And then once I have them all separated, I'm going to put them in our tin foil pouch. Now I have our bell pepper. It's one of my favorite vegetables. And just like the onions, nice thin slices. Add that to our onions. Okay, so this is what I have now. I'm going to mix these up so they cook evenly. So you know our onions were on the bottom because that's what I cut first. I am going to put on another layer of tinfoil on the bottom. I like my veggies seasoned and unburned, so we're going to add a little bit of olive oil so that they don't burn. And then I also brought some spices, so I'm going to put some salt and pepper on them. I also brought just a little bit of garlic powder and paprika to make it just a little hot because we are making fajitas. Those are all mixed up. Everything is well incorporated. So now we're going to go cook this in our fire. And when they're looking done, we'll add our pre-cooked chicken just to heat it through.
Listen to them sizzle.
Mm-hmm.
Now this next recipe isn't much of a recipe, it's just got one ingredient, but we are going to learn how to hard boil an egg in a campfire. Now Marissa and I, Arrianne, did not expect this to work. We had never done it before, it seemed a little weird, but we really wanted to try it for this video. So what it's going to take is 1 egg, and you fill a Dixie cup with water. Then after that, you stick it in the coals and let it sit for about 20 minutes. Now, you'll see the cup start to burn, but it's okay. It will only burn to the water line, and then the water will stay there. It's kind of cool to watch. Just keep an eye on it, though. Make sure the cups don't fall apart. That's why we double-walled this one with 2 cups, and you'll see that it just stops right there at the water. Then it'll start to bubble and boil just like it would on a stove, and just let it sit there.
Egg is done. Dunk in cold water to cool it off.
Hey! Look at that!
A hard-boiled egg.
There we go!
So curious. I can't believe that worked.
That's perfect.
It's not even overcooked. It's not green.
No! Look how nice that is.
Okay, so next thing, which is going to be super fun, is we are going to make muffins in an orange. So first step is to cut the orange in half, and this might be the most difficult part, and you got to scoop out the chunks of the orange. And you can, I imagine you can either eat them, or if you don't like oranges, you can throw them away. Now, the important part is not to get holes in your orange. So you want to keep this rind intact, so I'm just taking my spoon and going around the outside here. And then we'll scoop out all the good stuff. This one's going to be a little messy, but it'll be worth it. All right, orange. Next up, I've got about half a cup of water here. And what we're going to do is we've got a packet of muffin mix. And we are going to actually just go ahead and mix the muffin mix inside the packet. That way we don't have to worry about bowls or anything like that. The recipe did say to use milk, so if you have the ability to have milk on your camping trip, go for it. We're just using water. It'll still work just fine. Next step is we're going to fill our orange cupcake holders, muffin holders, whatever you want to call them, with the batter. Only fill one. You might need multiple oranges for this recipe. So next step, you're going to put the half on top of the other half, like we're putting the orange back together. Then we're going to wrap it in foil. All right. Now we have our orange Death Star. All right, so we've pulled the orange out of the fire now. It's been sitting just a couple minutes to cool off so I can touch it. We're gonna see if it worked. Well, we have a charred orange. And hey, we got a muffin! It's not brown like the ones we get out of the oven, but that's okay. Because does seem, oh, it's hot. Does seem to be cooked.
All right, Cub Scouts, so that concludes our campfire cooking. So now that we've shown you several different recipes how to cook things, feel free to try one of our recipes, but we also challenge you to go out and research and try some of your own with your den or your family, and write whatever recipes you find are successful or your favorites down in the recipe cookbook that we are going to provide.
That link will be in the description below and also in your Google Drive packets.
Thank you so much for joining us and have a great rest of your day.